You know, it's like false advertisement. You can get a bag of candy and you won't have any idea that it has peanuts in it until you eat it and have an allergy attack. I mean, that's basically what it is. You can watch that show and you can be like, oh God, it must suck to be a teen mom. But when you become a teen mom, you're like, wow, your mind's blown, you know? Like, it's intense.
I'm Farah.
I'm Amber.
I'm Caitlin.
And our stories continue now on Teen Mom.
10 minutes.
I do it every single day.
It's more work putting her in this and taking her to the store than it is going in the first place. I got her, don't worry.
You're such a jackass, Gary.
You lied.
Well, I lied because she scared me. I thought I was going to be able to get the birth control if I told her that we weren't using protection.
I can like know them for a few years. Speak this.
I mean, I don't even need it. I'm just thinking.
Shut up.
I know I went out too. I'm in here all the time too.
That wasn't all about.
Let me tell you something. You don't talk to my damn dad like that. You hear me? You apologize.
What I see in reality TV, the main problem is the name of the genre, reality TV. I think it should be called anti-reality TV or enhanced reality, because I don't think it's real. I don't think reality has anything to do with it. I think something else does. Entertainment, money, probably money.
E confirms via a court appearance for felony and misdemeanor charges, Amber makes $280,000 per year. That's right, peeps are saying that it's almost as if she's being rewarded for her questionable behavior.
My name is Katie, and I am 22, and I got pregnant with my first daughter at 19, and I had her when I was 20. And then I got pregnant again last year and had my other daughter this year. I do not think that Teen Mom helps teenage girls realize, you know, what it would be like if they were to have sex and have a child at a young age. I don't think there's anything that could prepare anybody for that. There is a lot that comes with it, not just the responsibility.
You've had enough today, haven't you?
I'm Stephanie and I'm 17. They make it seem so much easier. It seems like everything's put together, and it's really not like that in life.
Yeah, I do like that one a whole lot.
I love this thing.
That's
right
really,
here.
really pretty.
It's like perfect.
There's a pretense of it being real life, whereas you understand, well, in a situation comedy or in dramas that you know are scripted, you know, you hope to be able to enjoy it by realizing, you know, kind of drifting into the story. But with reality television, you don't have to necessarily do that. You feel like you're watching real life happening, and you're not. So I think it's one of the more potentially dangerous forms of media we have.
I just went for my annual checkup and they told me I was pregnant. I was very shocked.
She texted me from the doctor. She'd went to go get different birth control, and I literally just kind of was speechless. So by the time she got home, I was like, well, you're graduating high school. Do you want to keep it? She answered all the questions right, so we just kind of went through it.
With my first daughter, there was no problems at all. I gained the right amount of weight, probably a little bit more, and everything turned out fine. She came 4 days before her due date, natural. But with my second daughter, she was really small, and she came out 5 pounds 9 ounces, and tiny as can be, because my first was 7 pounds 14 ounces, and so I went from this like gigantic baby that came out wearing 3 to 6 months to this tiny itty bitty baby that could barely wear premature clothes. We almost had to put her in doll clothes.
There was a couple times where she would get real hormonal, but it was too far in the pregnancy, and I'm like, no, I asked you that question from the beginning. You're stuck with your answer. You know, you got 18 years and 9 months to deal with it now, so. Yeah, I gave her that option at first because we don't believe in abortion.
I'm not gonna lie, there's times when I'm like, maybe I should just let my parents or somebody have them, and maybe I should just walk away from the situation, or maybe, you know, maybe things would be better if I wasn't here. But then you sleep on it and you wake up the next day and you have awesome people like my stepmom and my stepsisters who cheer you up, you know, and kind of make you see that it's okay. And like my kids, of course, when I see them smile, I would never change that. And there's hope, but it's really hard to keep that hope because things constantly happen to drag you down.
You're depressed?
I think I'm depressed. Sometimes I don't even want to get out of bed. I know that everybody says that, but really when I wake up in the mornings, the only thing that gets me out of bed is when Lee is over there on the bed, you know.
I went through postpartum depression the first couple weeks and got put on medicine for it.
There is days, you know, that she's still wants to be a kid, like, and I think that was a lot of the triggers with the postpartum and going back to high school, because she could see all of her friends still being teenagers and not having to worry about anything.
So when I had Shayda, it was so life-changing, like so life-changing. I went from being solely independent, living on my own, being able to hang out with friends and you know, do whatever I wanted to being stuck with this other life to take care of and do everything for, and then I had to try to wind it all up together, and that was really hard for me. That put a strain on all my previous problems and made them explode. It all hit at once and I overloaded. Her cries quit concerning me. And it's really hard because when you're a first-time mom, you want to be like the best mom, because I didn't believe in abortion, so that wasn't an option for me. And as far as I was concerned, why carry a child for 9 months and then give it away? Especially when, you know, you can clearly take care of it when you're not a drug addict and like you made the decision to have sex and everything. So as hard as it was, when everything collapsed, her cries went from being concerning to giving me really bad anxiety and then making me mad. So I'd get frustrated because, you know, there would be times when she would cry because she was so tired she didn't want to go to sleep. You know, she'd fight it or something, you know, like I couldn't get her to stop, and there was times when I just had to put her in her pack and play and walk away and go outside and smoke a cigarette, or there was times when I would have to set her down and walk away and go in the other room and just yell, because I mean, it was so hard. And eventually the yelling started turning into worse, and I was having such a hard time trying to manage the postpartum that I asked for help, because I didn't want to become one of those crazy moms. But it is, postpartum's really hard, and I don't think it's something you really ever let go of. Like, I think once it comes around and brings back the previous problems that you may have, and then it kind of puts everything in the hyperdrive, you can like calm down from it. But I think that once you have another child, it kind of lurks around. I do feel like I have postpartum still sometimes, not nearly as bad as I did. I've learned different coping skills and everything, but there are still times when I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, like I need to breathe. I need to be a 22-year-old, but I think that's a normal mom thing. So the fact that I haven't hit rock bottom this time is really exciting.
Some days whenever I'm tired and exhausted from work and I come home and he's crying and she wants a break, and it's just feels like everything's just on you at once, and you just want to break sometimes, but you can't get it.
Well, why can't you be a man and grab my hand and say, I'm putting my whole heart in this relationship?
Because I'm not.
Listen, you don't even care about this relationship, so why did you come back?
I'm stupid. I should have listened to everybody. I really am stupid.
Neither fathers are involved financially or physically or anything else for that matter. Neither one of them have been for neither one of them.
If your boyfriend isn't really being there for them, you know, you don't really need them. Just focus right on your kid.
I'm just living my life for my kids, so I'm not having somebody else support him. I'd like to be the one supporting him.
It's a normal teenage relationship, ups and downs, hills, valleys.
I texted her like 8 hours later and asked her out. Here we are today, so.
They're on the right road. I think they're on the right path. It's going to take a lot of work for both of them, and it's not going to be easy. It wasn't for me and my husband, so And that's what I told her. You're either going to figure out this is what you want and put all the work into it, or this is not what you want and end it. You got to figure, both of you got to figure that out, so.
Since he's been born, it's been really good. But like every relationship, we have our ups and downs.
And it's more complicated, of course, with Carson.
Dating when you have kids is so unrealistic.
Cole's the first guy I've been interested in since I had Sophia. He's a model too, so we're going out after a casting call.
You would love to find that connection and have somebody to share moments with and feel loved and whatnot. And you see it all around you, so of course you want it. But in reality, it's not realistic at all, because it's hard to find somebody that wants to be with somebody that has kids when they don't, especially at a young age.
So your daughter is 4 months now?
Yeah, my daughter's 4 months now.
And what's her name?
Sophia.
Sophia, that's cute.
Yeah, I know. She's cute. You should meet her sometime.
I will, definitely.
Do you want to date and have your have guys in and out of your children's lives? Like, you don't want that at all. Or I mean, I don't. I would think any decent mom wouldn't want that either. So it's hard to make that connection with somebody. I have yet to make that connection with somebody because of that reason. Because as soon as I tell them I have kids, it's over.
That's the hardest part, knowing that you want to go and have fun, but you're spending $30 on one can of formula that's going to last you 2 days, 3 days, and knowing that you're buying this, have to buy diapers every other day for them, and that's $20 a box, if not more.
Because his formula is very, very expensive. I mean, it's almost a house payment what his formula is to buy it for the month. Yeah.
My mom has Shada right now, and she's guardianship, yeah, because it's just temporary too. But I went through a really, really hard time with postpartum depression when I had Shada. So when she was 10 months old, I moved back to Oklahoma City from Blackwell, Oklahoma, and I needed a lot of help. And she basically talked me into doing it legally, which was probably the biggest mistake I could have ever done in my life. So she has Shada. And it's really hard because I have Leah and I just want them together. But
you want them to grow up to know each other.
Yeah, and they do, but like I would like to have Shada every day. And I know that would make it way more hard on me. It's been tough. I definitely am a stay-at-home mom, and I try to help out with things around the house just because it's really my dad. He really does everything for me. Well, without him, I don't know where I'd be. But my mom's not supportive by any means. She never really has been.
My mom helps me if I am way too tired at night and just need one night of sleep. She takes over and helps with that.
I won't let her move out until she's 18 and graduates, because I know she's going to need my support with high school, and I'm not letting her drop out. That's very important. It's a big issue. So I've seen too many kids that do it, struggle, sleepless nights, say, oh, it's just easier to stay home, end up dropping out. I know that she doesn't have college in the near future, but there is the extended future.
I think Teen Mom, the show, definitely portrays some aspects of like real life teen moms, but at the same time it definitely doesn't. I think you see a lot of frustrations and stuff with them dealing with everything, and that might be the real aspect of it. The reality of the show, when Farrah yells at her mom.
Your life has changed.
Yeah, I know, Mom.
And you have responsibilities.
Yeah, I do.
You are a mother, you belong home.
Oh, okay. Well, I know other people don't have a problem with it.
But as far as like their living situations and everything like that, you can definitely tell that the show provides them with the ability to live like that. In reality, most teen moms don't have the money to go out and get an apartment.
Oh my gosh, that's actually really nice.
Isn't that cute?
But about the money, I don't think they talk about it at all. Like, I've seen one episode where she was talking about how she was asking her mom for money so she could go and do something for her. It's a big thing to go and have time to yourself at least once a week. But, I mean, I spend almost $300 a week on my child, so the money, they need to put money in there and show how much diapers cost, how much their clothes cost, and how much their formula costs, and not the extra stuff. And then show, after spending what you need, if you have money extra, this is how much the extra stuff costs.
If someone from MTV were to ever follow me through my life, they'd be like, we can't put that on TV, you know? Like, I'm not gonna lie. I'm 22, you know, I'm just like any other 22-year-old on the inside. Yes, I'm a mom, and I have things and responsibilities and boundaries that I have to watch. And I still like to do wild stuff and whatnot. You know, I have younger step siblings, and I play with them. You know, like I like to fake fight with them and whatnot, and that's fun. And they make me smile. But there is hard things. Like, my car was stolen, and that, I felt like that ruined everything for me, because I was just about to get back on my feet and go back to work. And then my car got stolen. Like, who does that happen to? Like, you would never think these things could happen to you, and then they do, and you're like, what am I supposed to do? I had a major breakdown after that happened. My mom kicked me out, and things were crazy, and I couldn't deal with it. So I had to walk away from my kids for a second and just pace outside smoking cigarettes, like chain smoking cigarettes, and crying and saying, God, what did I do? You know, like, what have I done? I have 2 kids, I'm 22, I don't have a car, I have no job, I live at home with my dad, who has a whole new family and kids and stuff to take care of his own, and I have to ask him every single day for help. You know, and that's hard for me to do, because here I am, 22 with 2 kids, and I should be able to stand on my feet on my own, but I can't.
Even for an honest documentarian to go out and try to represent reality is not easy, and usually doesn't represent reality, because there are limitations in terms of time that you have, the camera's gaze, the effect that the camera has on people who are in front of it. So even when you're trying to represent reality without changing it, it's hard to do. But when you go into a program where your real goal is to entertain or to sell, you know, eyeballs to advertisers or try to market a show, you're not really going into it to represent reality. You're going into it for another reason, entertainment, and I have no problem with that. But I don't think then that you call it reality.
Reality definitely does smack you in the face like a hardcover book.
The data that I have seen have shown that yes, in the last cycle, there has been a slight decline in the teen pregnancy rate. But really, these are trend data, and it's not particularly useful to look at just the trend from the last 2 years. It's more useful to think about the larger context and look at things, you know, like decades. And even though there has been a small decline in the teen pregnancy rate, you know, the United States is still much higher than other developed countries, and that's still a concern. And you know, recently, when those statistics were released, MTV produced a press release where they basically claimed responsibility for the downturn in the teen pregnancy rate. And that argument in particular I take issue with, because the decline in the teen pregnancy rate corresponded with the release of the show. So there's no possible way that the show could have produced a declining trend in teen pregnancy, and that certainly it was coincidental. Mm-hmm. So So yes, that's wonderful that the teen pregnancy rate has slightly gone down in the last couple of years. It doesn't mean that it's not necessary to continue to look at the portrayals of teen pregnancy in the media, and in particular, the possible health outcomes of these types, the portrayal of teen pregnancy in reality television.
I think that they're also warping a lot of kids' minds to thinking, oh, well, if they can do it and get paid and get on this show, then maybe I can. That's not what they should do. You know, I think if you're trying to let kids know that it's not a good idea and this is how it really is, then you need to put reality into it 100%. That means every last thing that happens, you don't cut it out. You don't clip it out. There's times when moms are going to scream at their kids, you know, because they don't know what else to do. There's times when parents and the kids are going to get into it. And there's times when, you know, like me, you're a single mom and you have absolutely nothing to your name but your children. And you live at home in a house with 10 other people, and you struggle every single day. And bad stuff happens every single day, and you just try to walk through it with a smile, but they don't show any of that. They have like scheduled bad things happen, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's, to me, that's ridiculous, because every day there's something bad that happens to me, but every day I try to put my chin up and walk through it.
The girls who saw the episode of 16 and Pregnant versus the girls who saw the episode of Made, they reported less perception that they were personally at risk for teen pregnancy, and they reported to believe that the benefits of teen pregnancy outweigh the negative outcomes, the pitfalls of teen pregnancy. And that was surprising. That wasn't exactly that from a public health perspective. You know, we thought that 16 and Pregnant should be more in line of preventing teen pregnancy. So in each variable that we measured, to try to tap this idea of pregnancy prevention, the show failed.
Teenagers, young adults are all in this time of trying to figure out who they are and what other people are like, and where they fit in to society. Well, those of us who work in media, and particularly those in the academy, we really do believe that probably the most important, the most powerful agent for that type of information that people can go to find out who they are, what they're like, what people think of them, what other people are like, who they want to be like, who they don't want to be like, in short, their place in the world, is the mass media. There's no societal force, I would argue, in the 21st century that comes close, be it education, religion, anything. And what we have here are the quote-unquote reality shows that are telling these young people, this is what life is. This is what you can expect when you go out. And as we know, well, if you're media literate, you know, these are all staged. There are scripts. You know, life, unfortunately, for a lot of people, it's not scripted. Yet they believe, they try to impress upon the viewer that in fact they are seeing something that's totally unrehearsed and just a natural part of life.
Dear Ryan, I think you know that I love you, and we both know that I've tried my hardest to make this relationship work. I'm going to leave for a while to see where life can take me and Bentley, and maybe one day we can put this back together in a better way. And that is all that I really want. I'm always here for you, and I will always love you. Love, Macy and Bentley.
Babies aren't dolls, and they're not toys, and they're not fun. They can be when they get older, but they're a lot of responsibility and a lot of hard work, and they drain you emotionally and physically, and you're not prepared. I don't think that anybody is ever really prepared unless they're like legitimately married and 33 and ready to have kids or whatever. But I don't think as a teenager and as a early 20-year-old, I don't think anybody is ready for that. I think that if you're willing to give up your whole life, that means school and anything fun that you want to do or whatever, then you know what? Go right ahead. But I don't think anybody's prepared for that. You give up your whole life for your child, and it's super hard. So I would tell them they're stupid and they need to not even have sex. And if they want to have sex, then be smart about it. Use birth control or condoms or whatever contraceptives are out there. Like, exercise those extremely, you know, because it's life altering to have kids. And I love my kids. They're great, and I wouldn't give them up for the world, but I would have waited. I would have waited.